Yeah, I do. And what I liked is we started the game and couldn't make a shot, and they come back and get it to 4, and there's some adversity. You need adversity. It's the only way you can really learn. And I like the fact that Reed kind of busted through a little bit because he struggled, but he still. When he and I just talked, I said, your habit right now is to gather yourself. It isn't going to work anymore. Not only here, if you want to be professional, that will not work. And he knows it. He says, my mind. I said, anytime there's any kind of pressure, you're going to revert what you know best. And that's what he knows best right now because we haven't coached him. So now I just said, we're going to get you to where you're getting balls to the rim quicker, you're shooting some runners, and then go rebound your miss. You're not going to gather yourself, bring the ball down, and try to bust your way through. There are games he can do that, not against the good teams. So, but I told the guys I'm not intoxicated by this. I just told them I'm not. At the end of the day, we should be a monster defensive team. We should be a great rebounding team. We should be a team that can fly up and down the court and put pressure on you both sides of the ball. And we should be a team that shares because we got a lot of guys that are skilled enough to play that way. And it seems to me we got some dogs. We got a couple dogs. I like to have a couple dogs on the team that will not back away.
How hard last year was one of those years when you had to push guys to do extra work the whole year? Doesn't
Nah.
seem like that's a problem.
Well, and what happens is it's contagious. If you remember, Brandon Knight came to Kentucky and kind of changed our culture and helped us push it where we were trying to go. This group of freshmen, I just told them, you guys are getting guys like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist did. You either get in more work, become more skilled, or you start going by the wayside. And it's forced all the guys. The same thing with the motor these guys play with. They play with a high motor. If there's a guy or two out there that aren't, it's obvious that you all see it. Like, why isn't he playing as hard as those guys? And we haven't had that. This is a group that's driving each other. I told them our practices were so competitive for 10 days, and they said, you're right, that these became, let's play somebody else. And it became a little easier for them because they were going at each other the way you're seeing them go at these other teams.
John, usually freshmen take a while. These kids' IQ seem to be different.
Well, we're keeping it simple. Literally did not bog them down with defensive stuff. What I did probably the last 3 practice days, maybe the last 4, spent time showing them rotations defensively, switching defensively, backline switching, in other words, away from the basketball where we call it scramming, but we showed them that and had to really walk through it. But hoops, they picked it up. And then they were doing it here, which is making me, it's like, wow. Because most of the stuff was higher level than us. And this is the next step of what you're doing. And, offensively, you're trying to get them in a groove of how they have to play, not versus how someone else is playing. Like Quad A right now, away from the ball, he's unbelievable. He can score it. He figures out spots to go. He doesn't have to pull the ball out. I want him off the ball. And I just told him, if you're on a team with Keldon in the NBA, Keldon's a point guard. You ain't playing point guard. So be this guy and let them all know this kid can really play basketball. He can score the ball. He's skilled, decision-making. You know what? I want him on my team. And so, he's doing it, and he looks good doing it. Ashton and Emmanuel, 2 different things we have to work on. Tyler, is playing well. I just told him, I said, now, do you understand it's good to play well like you did, but now that's a standard to grow from. Now you're going to have to go from where you are to grow. I said, that's the downside of it.
John, you said you're not intoxicated. What would transpire to make you intoxicated?
Here,
Yeah.
it's August. I've been doing this too long. I mean, EJ didn't even play, so let me say this. I'm happy, and I'm happy with the guys, and I really like this team. They like each other, and I say it again, when you're comfortable in your own skin, because you're not trying to trick somebody, You're not trying to cut every corner. You're not the last guy in the gym. If you're that guy, you want to drag people down to your level. Play games, mind games. But when everybody's putting in the time and working and comfortable in their own skin, they can be about each other. I'm happy with me, so I'll be happy with you. And I'm happy with your success because it doesn't infringe on my thing. But if you're not that way, if you try to trick somebody, normally you're the guy that tries to bring people down. We don't have any of that on this team.
John, you had the Breakfast Club, which really worked well for you in 12.
That was Michael Kidd.
Yeah, this group is staying after and shooting in the gym.
What would you call the Midnight Club?
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, these dudes are in here midnight, 1 o'clock. I was happy with Quad A, who missed every shot the first game, every single one, and at midnight was in this gym, and then came out and made his first 3 shots. Is it something I said? Is it something I did? No. Nick, I just told Nick. I had my wife come in and say something to him because she said to me today, he's not even the same kid. He doesn't walk the same. He doesn't look the same. He doesn't carry himself the same. So when I met with him, I said, Alan, tell him what you said. And she said, she told him all that and said, and I'm proud of you. That's a year. Wouldn't I like to have guys for 4 years? I mean, think about it. That's 1 year with him. The scouts, the guy they're amazed with, Nick. Oh, they love Keldon. They love Tyler. They think PJ's way better than he was. But they're looking at Nick saying, wait a minute. And he's 7 foot. And if you watch the tape, he's flying up and down the court.
How hard is it what you're asking Reed to do? Because he does have 4 years built in of playing the same, what he called bully style. How hard is it what you're asking him?
It's hard. Now, here's what I do. I don't try to tell a guy break habits because you spent 12 years playing that way. We got to create new habits. And that's what I just told him. You got to create quicker to the basket, runners, some little 7-foot shots, not jump shots, just boom, get it to the rim quickly. It's thrown to you. Your first thought is get it to the backboard. And we got to work on it. We have not worked on it. We've done nothing with it, but we will when he comes back.
How does he get to the point where he doesn't rely on the old habit to kick back?
It'll pop out. When things get really hairy, he'll revert, and then we'll have to send him, let's go back in the gym, let's go. We gotta have these new habits. And he said sometimes it's mental. Like he catches, first thing is, and he just can't do it. I mean, and that's why he came here. That's why he wanted to be here. I mean, you see him on the perimeter shooting, you see him making free throws. But how about this? A veteran player, first team all conference, came here and literally it's like relearning. And he started and he had the jitters. Like, geez, Now think about, he has jitters at his age. What about these 18-year-olds in front of that crowd on national television,
John, what does EJ add to this when he's healthy?
What does he add? He's a man. He's a man. I had a kid at Memphis, Chris Massey. You remember him? Like a man. And then we ended games, and I heard guys on the other team, we played against a grown man. Kid's a grown man. Well, this kid's a grown man. He's not 18 and 19. He's a grown man. He's lost about 20 pounds. Probably needs to lose another 4 or 5. Defends, bouncy. How about he blocked a shot? I'm telling you, I didn't think he had a blocked shot last year. We got him to go. You got to go show that stuff. You got to show your quickness, your athleticism. He has it, but he's never used it. It's been more, what he would call bully ball.
What about AJ Montgomery when he gets healthy? What do you expect?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably our most skilled big guy. Shooting the ball, passing the ball, dribbling the ball. Physically and mentally, that toughness that you need. He's probably behind these other guys, but they're veterans. They've been through the wars. He hasn't.
There was a sequence in the second half. You guys are way ahead, and somebody on your team takes a shot. They've got position, Team Toronto, and Ashton tries to compete for that rebound. He fights for it. The other guy gets it, and then he tries to steal the outlet.
Yeah, he's like, when I watch it, yesterday when we beat the Serbian team, I said to the team, we had 6 guys in double figures. But you had 3 points, Ashton, and had as much of an impact on the game than anybody, maybe more. Then you watch this. His pressure on the ball, he just stole one at half court. We'll get 2 of those a game. get your hands on like 5 balls. Like he had a cross-court pass, if you remember, he got a hand on it. I mean, I grabbed him in there and said, I am really happy. He's got to shoot more. He pulled up and made one. He's a good shooter. I don't know why. Again, what's his habit? Head down and drive. That's his habit. And now we've been really working on a consistent follow-through, which gives you a consistent shot. But he doesn't do it all the time. And you know, but he's a good foul shooter. He's a good pull-up shooter. He can shoot threes. I mean, he's not great, but I was happy Emmanuel missed his first 3 or 4 shots. I told him, now there's some adversity. How are you going to play? Comes back and makes a shot. So this is a good group. Say it again. Every guy here is comfortable in their own skin. Every guy here is a little uncomfortable about, I'm hoping I'm going to play. They're a little uncomfortable, and they should be. But they also know that I'm playing on a team that's for me. So I got to be responsible for what I'm supposed to do, and these guys are going to help me. I said that I want you to expect every shot to go in. The only thing I told them was you can't hold the ball because you're going to be shooting balls. You can't then shoot balls and hold the ball. Either let it go or get rid of it or give it to somebody. You're not going to mess with it because that's not fair to these guys. He said, I got you.
What about Cal? Just the way he plays.
He's, I asked him, I said, I knew you were going to be good, but, you know, we recruited him, and it took me a minute to say, you know what, let's do this. And we were probably the last school recruiting him. I said, but you knew before I knew. He said, because I knew. I knew I was good enough, and I knew what I would do here. And I said, well, you're doing it. And you're doing it. And he's doing it. I said, defensively, you're going to have to give space because you're going to foul, and then you won't be playing. And your length lets you're able to do that. But your motor and your enthusiasm is going to drive us. It is. And, you know, when you talk about good players, like, you know, these guys are evaluating. You know, if there's 5 better players than him in the country, you got to tell me who they are. I don't care what you read anywhere. I've done this a long time, and I know who's who. And if there are five better than him, tell me who they are. I mean, this kid is legitimate 6'5", can play point guard 2, 3, and 4. Shoots it good enough, tough, will fight you. In the gym at midnight, loves the game, high motor, high energy. What? No coolness. No, I don't matter. Doesn't matter where I go. I just want to have fun. Well, that ain't this kid. This kid is like, okay, you know, proud of him. Really am.
We had the box scores from all the games and the numbers. What, as a coach, what significant numbers are there? What numbers should we?
I think rebounding, and you should look at turnovers and say they averaged like 10, 11 turnovers after 10 practices in a brand new team. Wait a minute. That means you have a skilled team that's unselfish. That's what you have. Second thing, we're not going to average 100 a game. It's not, but I think this will probably average more than maybe any team I've coached. So my guess would be, I don't know what's the most my teams have scored, but it's probably near 80. And I would say that's what this team would probably average. That would be my guess. And that's a lot for us. I mean, because teams are not going to let us run. They're going to try to shorten the game like some of my good teams you played against us. We can't play in the 90s. They're going to kill us. This game's got to be in the 60s. And we're trying to push it good. You get 60, we'll get 80, and we'll both be happy. And so that's what, you know, what I see. But I haven't done anything defensively. And I told them, when we get back, you know, my focus is going to be on making us the best defensive team. Because, again, it starts with your point guards. And these guys can guard the ball. That's the biggest thing. It means, do you have a shot blocker behind those guys? We do. Do you have toughness to be able to? We do. How do your wings guard? Okay. Need to be better, but they're okay. So